So, I have arthritis, and what I've got is these grips, which have bar ends built in and a higher holding position up there, which help me to be able to move hand position and spread the load. But I'm still putting too much weight down on here. One thing that might reduce the amount of weight I put on there when I'm leaning forwards would be to raise the handlebar a bit. So this was in the second-hand bin at a shop, and I thought, same length, it's the same make, how good is that? But it goes up a little bit more, so it would give me nearly a centimetre of additional rise on the stem. Or so I thought. Yeah, maybe about 7mm of rise compared to the existing one. So I've slackened this off. To take that off, you'll see that the actual fork column is about half a centimetre below the top of this thing. Drop that off. Put this one on. And it's, well, the top screw is not going to be gripping the column. Which means that you might be tempted to take this ring off. By the time you've taken that ring off, you've lost the additional height. But you had to see that thing now is even lower down. You've lost all the height you were hoping to gain. So I don't think the bar will be any higher. So that's just a comment that you live and learn, don't you? So I thought swapping that stem for this stem, which has got a bit more rise in it, would give me half to 1 centimetre of rise. But what happens in order to fit it on here, by the time you've taken that out, you've lost all of the rise you were hoping to gain. So do I bother fitting it or not? I might just fit it just for the sake of the fact that I bought it. One minor thing, it is second hand. I have been able to get it going. It says on here a torque. There's a good reason for that torque setting. What somebody had done was they'd over tightened one of the screws clearly and stripped the thread in this. I've just re-tapped it, and if I am careful and don't over tighten it, I think that will do. I've had it in and out, it seems to travel quite nicely. I've used a die even to clean up the thread on the screw. I don't think that was an original screw, because there's a slight difference in these screws, and that has a spring washer on it anyway. These have non-scrape spring washers and a bit of straight shank. So I don't know what went on there, but that's bad engineering to strip a thread. So on alloy components like this, it's very important not to exceed the torque setting when tightening up. Right, there we go. So that's my review. Sorry about the washing, hope you can cope with all this. If there's any more you want to know about my experiences of using this, as I say, done a few thousand miles and it gets me about quite nicely. Now I am fitting the new second-hand stem riser that was shown in the previous bit of video. Makes this part look much shorter. But I'm guessing some people might be saying, oh, I haven't got a torque wrench. How do I get the settings right for these screws so I don't strip the aluminium? Well, let's think about what we're trying to achieve here. For this part, what we're trying to do is be able to turn the wheel without the handlebars slipping round. So if you tighten it up so that you can just about move the handlebars by putting the wheel between your legs and twisting, then all you need is a touch more tightness on that, because, let's put it another way, if you were to come off the bike and in coming off you twisted the handlebars, that's okay. It's not meant to be so rigid that it wouldn't move at all. So just tight enough so that the wheel doesn't turn without the handlebars. Well, as you turn the handlebars, the wheel turns, and if you hit a curb or something, it doesn't twist too badly. But just tight enough to hold it. You're only wanting to grip that so you can turn it. It's not going to fall apart. Similarly with this thing, I can at the moment just about twist the position of the handlebars, and I'm going to have to slacken these off. Almost no torque at all on them. I mean, slacken them off so I can position the handlebar properly. It's got graduated markings to help me with that. Brilliant for the centering of it in there. And then just a touch to tweak it up. Doesn't need to be tight at all. And what stops the screws coming out? Not the tightness with which you put them in. A spot of blue Hylamar or Loctite. If you've not got that, some people use nail varnish. A spot of nail varnish on the screw thread. That will hold it in place and should break free if you need to. So there's some adhesives that would make it impossible to remove the screw, but there are others which will allow you to remove it, and that's what you want. So if you haven't got Loctite to hand, I believe nail varnish will do. I'm hoping there's enough residual Loctite on those threads to hold the screws in, but I will be checking mine. So there we are. That's just a note or comment about getting the torque right. Similarly on skewers, you don't want to be pulling your wheel so tight that you're stretching the skewer every time. Just enough to hold the wheel in place and so that it's not going to flip open during normal riding.